A house in the sky. Can you imagine? The limits of what people call ordinary life have already been crossed for you. Even Elon Musk couldn't resist solving this mystery and built a special house for you above the clouds where no one can reach. While everyone else lives grounded, you meet your destiny beyond the sky. Write 444 in the comments now because you are the chosen one, the spirit that does not fit into the narrow mold of the earth and always looks up. There are no ordinary roles in this story. You are the protagonist here. Now everyone will talk about your ascension. Just like a shepherd who walks into the pasture at dawn with nothing but a staff and a trust in the light, your story steps boldly onto the field as the new day chases every lingering shadow. The moment the sun peaks above the horizon, it doesn't just light up the grass and the trees. It makes every hidden burrow, every path trodden by night creatures, plain for all to see. That gentle light, sent by heaven itself, sweeps through the valleys and hills, not missing a single stone or blade of grass. Beloved, this is what your journey looks like now. All the secrets, all the hushed conversations held behind your back, every sly agreement and whispered alliance, they are being summoned to the surface by a force that never forgets. It's as if a holy surveyor, clipboard in hand and eyes bright with truth, is walking row by row, checking every number and every line on the page. Where the world thought it could hide things in the folds of darkness, the light of God is pulling back every curtain, dusting off the ledgers, and calling for a full account. Every signature, every false witness, every misstep scribbled in pencil is now under review. And this is no ordinary audit. It's a spiritual reckoning. Imagine a great bell sounding across the land, calling all to attention. Even those who believed their secrets would sleep forever in the shadows are feeling the tremor, the unmistakable vibration that says the books are open and nothing is missed. You, chosen one, are standing not just in the warmth of forgiveness, but in the power of divine examination. The sunrise isn't just bringing clarity to others. It's marking you as the one who walked through the night and made it to the morning still holding your truth. Now, as the light increases, the things you endured in silence are being given a voice. The old debts are being tallied, the secret oaths exposed, and the scales of justice are swinging back toward balance. Remember, when the sun rises over your life, every conspiracy loses its teeth, every manipulator loses their footing, and every accuser is left blinking in the brightness. This is the dawn you've been waiting for, a holy unveiling, a sacred inventory, and a jubilee where everything hidden must finally give account to the light. And in this spiritual audit, child of purpose, it's not the darkness that wins, but the one who was willing to walk in truth until the morning came. The day is here when guilt has nowhere left to go, and every mask becomes too small to cover the truth that's already written on their hearts. Just as fresh snow records every movement, heaven has preserved every detail, every sleight and scheme, to be revealed when the season turns. In this hour, the hand of the divine turns over every stone, making sure not a single misdeed can escape. The story doesn't stop at the unveiling. This is the dawn where your innocence is not just proven, but celebrated. The same voices that once muttered behind your back will be silenced, not by force, but by the authority of truth itself. So, beloved, take heart. You are the sunrise that calls an end to the night of manipulation. Your footsteps leave marks of integrity where deceit once trod. Like beams of sunlight breaking through old, dirty windows, your presence fills the room with clarity, scattering the fog of confusion and exposing every hidden plot. The chapter that closes tonight isn't just an end, it's the signal of a new era, one written in broad daylight, where no false story can survive and no darkness can resist the call of your light. In this divine hour, all is revealed, and you walk forward free, leaving only truth and grace in your wake. Just picture a campfire burning in the clearing, one that can't be hidden by fallen leaves or doused by passing storms. The flames flicker with purpose, drawing every creature in the woods to its glow, no matter how long they tried to pretend it wasn't there. That's what your presence does, beloved. It exposes every fox in the henhouse and melts the masks right off their faces. Every hidden scheme, every whisper that tried to work against you, now crackles and pops in the open as truth blazes through the underbrush. And let me tell you, in a world where gossip likes to travel in the dark, your light is the searchlight that leaves no shadow unexamined. Those who plotted behind your back, thinking your humility made you an easy mark, have been exposed by the steady heat of your endurance. Like ice left out in the July sun, their resolve has vanished, leaving nothing but puddles of old intentions. You see, there comes a time when even the most cleverly disguised lies can't survive the sunrise. The backroom deals, the sideways glances, the poisonous texts and twisted stories, every single one is about to be aired out in a breeze of honesty that cannot be stopped. The air is charged like the atmosphere before a thunderstorm, waiting for the first clap that will startle the world awake. All that was meant to keep you bound in silence is about to be rewritten in the language of daylight. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. And don't you know, chosen one, this isn't just for your vindication. It's a signal to every other silent soul in the crowd that truth still stands and light still wins. Your resilience is the beacon. Your story is the trumpet blast. In the end, what was once spoken in hushed tones will be declared from the rooftops, because that's what happens when God lights a fire that no man can put out. Imagine stepping into a garden just as the morning sun breaks through the clouds. Those first golden rays dispel the lingering mist, revealing every hidden flower and weed. That's what's happening now. Divine light is exposing every shadowy plot, every whispered accusation that once made you shrink. All those times you felt a sudden chill run up your arm, when laughter died in your throat because you sensed something was off, when your spirit seemed to flinch. Those weren't random jitters. That was the Holy Spirit tuning your inner antenna, making sure you saw every move before the enemy could finish his game. You walked into rooms where eyes darted away, where the atmosphere felt so heavy you could almost see the tension. And it wasn't your imagination. Your soul was picking up on the currents of envy swirling around you. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. You kept your heart set on growth, reaching for the next blessing, tending your field like a faithful farmer waiting on rain. Meanwhile, in the backrooms, unseen hands lined up dominoes, hoping the whole structure would collapse as soon as you reached another milestone. Each victory you celebrated, every birthday, every promotion, every quiet moment of gratitude became a fresh excuse for the critics to hurl stones and call it justice. It wasn't just about success, it was about what your joy represented. Your light made their shadows uncomfortable. Your freedom made their chains rattle. They twisted the simplest moments into evidence for their case against you, turning private group chats into secret courtrooms and every edited photo into a fake exhibit for their narrative. But beloved, the season of silent sabotage is over. Picture the gates of an ancient vault swinging open at dawn. Inside are the ledgers, the unedited tapes, the receipts they thought would stay hidden forever. Now, every altered message, every deleted line, every slanted screenshot stands as a testament, not to your guilt, but to the lengths they went to hide the truth. The courtroom of heaven is in session, and the judge isn't fooled by their special effects. You're about to watch, in real time, as the narrative flips. Where once there were only accusations, now comes vindication. Where there were closed doors, windows swing wide. Just as the sun never asks permission to rise, your vindication doesn't need their approval. The archives of your life, the stories they tried to rewrite, are now being read aloud, every chapter testifying not just to your endurance, but to your divine assignment. God saw every domino stacked, every secret plot, every stone thrown. And now, like a master gardener, He's uprooting what was buried and planting seeds that will blossom in full view. The very stones that were hurled to break you are becoming the foundation stones for your testimony. And just like the dawn, you cannot be stopped. This is the moment where truth walks out, bold and unashamed, into the bright light of day. Imagine a patchwork quilt, every square stitched by hands trying to force you into a pattern you never chose. They pieced together rumors, patched your victories with envy, and turned your acts of kindness into suspicious designs, layer by layer, their own fears and failures woven right into the fabric. In their version, your success became the thunderclap before their storm, your joy the very forecast of their disappointment. But beloved, a counterfeit covering can only hold so long against the wind of truth. Just like a strong breeze rushing through an old attic, the whole thing is coming undone. Threads snapping, seams bursting, every false accusation tumbling like dust from the rafters. Let me tell you, there is a spiritual principle at work here that no storyteller can rewrite. While they were busy patching together their house of cards, propping up their egos with stories and cold shoulders, God was weaving a robe of favor just for you, every thread dipped in mercy and truth. When the storm of exposure rolls through, what remains standing is what was built on the cornerstone of integrity. The world may try to assign you a villain's mask, but heaven always had your true name embroidered on the inside. You see, when insecurity builds a castle out of gossip, it always forgets that rain is coming. And here's the beauty: you don't have to lift a finger to tear it down. The truth has a way of seeping in, like gentle rain through the cracks, softening every lie until the walls sag and the whole charade folds. What they meant to trap you in will be the very thing that frees you. Those carefully stacked cards, so delicately balanced, are tumbling now, one after another, until not even a whisper of accusation can stick. You are not defined by their narrative, and you never were. Your peace is not up for negotiation, and your spirit doesn't shrink in a hall of mirrors. The day is coming, and it's almost here, when the world will see every role you played was chosen by destiny, not by their insecurity. And as the last false panel falls away, It won't just reveal their empty projections. It will spotlight the real you, the one chosen and called for such a time as this. Just like a sunrise burning through morning fog, your truth will shine, dissolving every shadow, until all that's left is the radiant story God always intended for your life. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the super thank you button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. And so, while their stories unravel and their accusations lose power, you stand clothed in unshakable purpose, heart steady, vision clear. That's what happens when God Himself does the tailoring. No rumor, no lie, no twisted tale can ever undo His handiwork on your soul. Imagine a chessboard laid out under moonlight, each piece carved and polished, every move mapped by hands convinced they could outthink destiny itself. But right in the center, heaven has placed its own piece. A living cornerstone the architects of sabotage never factored in. That's you, beloved. Every strategic gathering, every whispered conference, every late-night plotting session was a move on their game board, thinking they'd corner you with their plans. But the real playbook wasn't written on paper or hidden in smoke-filled rooms. It was inscribed in the sky long before any scheme took shape. As the grand unveiling begins, watch as every clandestine meeting, every secret text, and every alliance spun from fear gets called out, one by one, in the bright morning sun. The so-called mastermind, the one who moved first out of insecurity, recruiting the crowd, flipping confidants, and twisting what was pure, finds themselves exposed by the very web they spun. The network that once pressed in from all sides begins to unravel, each connection losing its grip because it was never grounded in truth to begin with. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. You see, a structure built on suspicion and half-truths can't withstand the tremors of revelation. And just as a spider's web shimmers beautifully in the dawn but collapses at the first gust of real wind, every page in their secret playbook is now being read aloud by a voice they can't silence, a voice that carries the echo of eternity. What was meant to keep you tangled has become the platform where your true authority rises. So while their chapters close with fear and finger-pointing, your story is just opening to a new sunrise. You are living proof that what was written for harm is now an open invitation for heaven's justice to show up. Let the hidden names be revealed, let the motives be counted and the dates marked, because God's blueprint for your life cannot be altered by mortal hands. In the end, the script that holds is the one written in divine ink, calling you not just survivor, but chosen, appointed, and untouchable in your purpose. Imagine your life as a sunlit garden in the middle of a stormy city. Every blossom is an act of hope that defies the gloom. Every green shoot proof of the promise over your life. While others spent their time sowing weeds in the dark, you kept planting faith in broad daylight. That's why, when the rain stops, your harvest will speak for itself. They wanted to turn your story into a maze of rumors and half-truths, but the divine hand that designed you is clearing the path for all to see. You see, these adversaries never marched onto the battlefield head-on. Open confrontation would have only magnified the unshakable strength in your spirit. Instead, they retreated to the shadows, working as silent engineers of confusion, slipping doubts into conversation like drops of ink into clear water. Their specialty became the art of suggestion, careless words dropped with calculated timing, a raised eyebrow here, a hushed conversation there. They gathered behind closed doors, forming alliances made of whispers and fragile pacts. Their campaign was never about truth, but about distraction, making every moment of your journey seem suspect, every achievement an accident, every struggle a failure. And while your days online were laid out like squares on a chessboard, they studied every move with a magnifying glass, eagerly awaiting a slip. One stumble, one awkward post, and they'd trumpet it as gospel, spreading your supposed weakness as if it were newsworthy. They loved to magnify your mistakes, hoping to write your legacy in the ink of your worst day. But what they didn't count on is that real victory is never found in their gossip columns. It's forged in the quiet, in the patience, in your refusal to become bitter. Now, the same secret meetings and digital back channels that once harbored their schemes are losing power in the light of a new day. The eyes that watched you hoping for a fall are now blinded by the brilliance of your resilience. The confidential group chats, the private criticisms, the endless strategizing, all of it is about to be aired out by the breath of truth. God has a way of spinning the tables, beloved, so what was once hidden now becomes the very evidence of your anointing. Just like the rising sun makes even the longest shadow vanish, your authenticity is burning off the fog of confusion. The same ground they tried to turn into a minefield is being tilled into soil for your next harvest. The seeds they meant for sabotage are sprouting as blessings, because heaven never lets evil have the last word. That's why, when the dust settles, it's not their rumor mill that will shape your future. It's your unwavering faith, your refusal to quit, and the undeniable light of your calling that will lead the way. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles. Feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed and let the light of the Lord guide your path. So keep walking through the garden, head high and heart steady. No weapon formed in gossip will prosper, and every lie spun against you will unravel at the seams. The days of private surveillance and public spectacle are coming to an end. The world will soon see what God saw all along, a chosen soul who cannot be trapped by schemes, but who blossoms again and again in the radiance of divine favor. Picture a humble potter's wheel spinning in the morning light. Each revolution, another attempt to shape what only the master's hands can truly define. They tried to mold you with warped clay, twisting your image with every gossip and suspicion, building a carnival maze, hoping you'd forget the blueprint of your own spirit. Every corridor they crafted was lined with mirrors, made to contort your reflection, so that every genuine word you spoke echoed back in a strange, misshapen form. and every peaceful pause was recast as calculated silence. But what they didn't realize is this: no funhouse built by fearful hands can ever withstand the dawn. When God's sun rises, all those painted illusions melt away, and the true vessel emerges, strong and unmistakable. Beloved, you've wandered through those distorted hallways, heard every name they called you, felt the pressure of eyes waiting for you to break. But you never crumbled, never surrendered the core of who you are. Your faith has become your compass, pointing you out of the labyrinth. Every insult, every accusation was just another brick laid by people who misunderstood the design, who forgot that the architect holds the final plan. Their game of endless reflections, where right was twisted into wrong and boldness was called arrogance, is finished. Now the mirrors are shattered, the path is clear, and you see yourself as heaven always saw you, not a caricature shaped by others' fears, but a masterpiece crafted for this very moment. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. And now, as the dust settles and the noise of confusion dies down, you find the pen waiting in your hand. The author's seat is yours by birthright, not by permission. The old script, their rumors, their stories, their judgments, has been torn away. It's your voice that matters now, your truth that takes center stage. Each word you write on this new chapter comes with the authority of one who endured the furnace and came out shining brighter, like gold purified 7 times. You are rewriting the story for everyone watching, not just for yourself. Your journey out of the maze becomes a map for others who thought they'd never find the exit. You see, a story built on lies always collapses under the weight of the truth. The foundation you stand on is faith, not the shifting sands of approval or applause. The walls they built were never strong enough to keep you caged, and their rules were never just. This is the turnaround. This is where mercy rewrites policy, where hope repairs division, and where your testimony carries the kind of weight that moves the next generation. The time of second-guessing is over. The time of being defined by others is over. It's your season to take the pen, to step out of the maze, and to let God's light write your future with an ink that never fades. Imagine a gardener in the quiet after a wild storm, surveying shattered branches and overturned earth. Instead of despairing at the ruin, he kneels down and starts planting fresh seeds right in the wreckage, knowing the richest fruit often comes from soil churned by adversity. That's your story now. The world may have watched the house of mirrors fall, but you've been handed a new plot of land and holy seeds to sow. While others stumble through their broken reflections, you're out here cultivating truth that can't be uprooted. You've come through every trial with your light undimmed and your purpose clarified, and it shows in every step you take. Each word you speak now is a lantern for those still trapped in old illusions, your faithfulness mapping a safe passage through territory where few dared to walk. You're not waiting for applause, you're shaping a new way of living, built on the foundation of grace that only grows stronger the more it's tested. As you walk forward, the air shifts. Conversations begin to sound different around you. Old conflicts lose their grip, and people start to sense there's something unbreakable about your peace. It's like watching sunlight dry the last puddles after a rainstorm. Everything looks clearer, lighter, and somehow the sky feels higher above your head. You become a living landmark, not because you tried to be, but because you stood firm when every wind tried to knock you down. Others see what you've survived, and realize maybe, just maybe, they can get up too. Where gossip once set wildfires, your presence brings rainfall that soothes and heals. Where slander tried to carve scars, your laughter plants wildflowers. The stone they rolled to block your story becomes the very platform where new songs begin. And as the days stretch into new chapters, your life becomes a testimony that echoes long after the noise fades. You shine with a steady light that calls out to every weary traveler. Come home, the way is open. Each page you write with courage and love unlocks another door for someone else, showing them that freedom isn't a prize for the lucky, but a path for the brave. So keep going. Don't look back at the wreckage, except to remember how far you've come. The masterpiece the Creator formed in you has never needed outside validation, and it's never been dependent on borrowed opinions. Lift your head, beloved, and let your journey mark the map for others. The truth in you will outlast every shadow, and the seeds you sow now will become forests of hope for generations yet to come.